So, you know the entire universe? All the stars, galaxies, your weird neighbor, Kevin? What if it all came from, well, nothing? How did a son, who was basically destined to be his father's lunch, rise up to overthrow a tyrant and become the king of all gods? And what was the world-altering secret hidden inside the most famous piece of cursed luggage in history? Well, stick around, because for the next 10 minutes, we are unpacking the absolutely wild family drama that started ... everything. We're going from the dark, empty void of chaos to the rise of the Olympians. We'll see how humanity was made, and find out what was really at the bottom of Pandora's infamous box. This is the definitive and frankly bonkers story of how it all began. Picture this. Before time, before light, before anything, there was just chaos. And not your "I can't find my keys" kind of chaos, but a vast, dark, formless nothing. From this giant void, the first beings just sort of showed up. First came Gaia, the earth, the literal ground floor of the cosmos. Then Tartarus, the super gloomy pit of the underworld. After them, Eros, the god of love and procreation basically, the cosmic engine that would make sure this story gets very interesting very quickly. And finally, Chaos coughed up Erebus, darkness itself, and his sister Nyx, who was night. So, Gaia, the earth, was probably feeling a bit lonely. From her own being, she brought forth a son to be her equal. Uranus, sky. He covered her completely, and together, Mother Earth and Father Sky would kick off the first dynasty of gods. Let's just agree now that godly family trees are a mess and move on. So, Gaia and Uranus get together, and their kids are mixed bag. First, you get the 12 titans, 6 dudes and 6 ladies, all powerful and majestic. These included Oceanus, the river that wrapped around the world, Rhea, a future key player, and the youngest and most ambitious of them, Cronus. But then came the other kids, the Cyclopes, giant one-eyed craftsmen great at building stuff, not so great at depth perception, and the Hecatonchires, who had 100 hands and 50 heads. Try buying a hat for that guy. Cronus took one look at his 100-handed babies and went, nope, don't. So he grabbed them and stuffed them back deep inside the earth, which, you might remember, is their mom, Gaia. It was the universe's first year grounded, but infinitely more messed up. This caused Gaia a whole lot of pain and, understandably, a whole lot of rage. Her heart turned on her husband. She forged a giant sickle out of flint, gathered her Titan kids, and said, "So, who wants to help me overthrow your deadbeat dad?" Total silence, except for the youngest, Cronus. Driven by ambition and with a clear lack of concern about patricide, he stepped up and took the sickle. That night, when Uranus came down to be with Gaia, Cronus ambushed him. He grabbed his father, and with one decisive swing, he castrated him. The attack was so brutal it permanently separated the sky from the earth. Ouch. From the blood that hit the ground, new creatures were born. From the sea foam where his severed parts landed, a new goddess arose in all her glory. Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Uranus was out, his power broken. A new age had begun. With Uranus gone, Cronus became the new boss. He married his sister, the Titaness, Rhea, keeping it in the family. A classic god move, and they kicked off what was called the Golden Age. He freed his Titan siblings to rule with him, but his monstrous brothers, the Cyclopes and Hecatonchires, Cronus was just as scared of them as his dad was, so he left them locked up in Tartarus. His entire reign was built on paranoia. See, Cronus got a terrifying prophecy from his parents, just like he overthrew his father. One of his own kids was destined to do the same to him. This thought lived in his head rent-free, and he became obsessed with stopping it. He came up with a foolproof and deeply disturbing solution. Every time Rhea gave birth to a beautiful new god, Cronus just swallowed them whole, like a divine Pez dispenser of doom. First Hestia, then Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. They couldn't die, obviously, but they were trapped in their father's stomach. Rhea was heartbroken, watching her husband literally eat their children. But with her 6 kids, she decided she'd had enough. Desperate, Rhea went to her mom, Gaia, for help. Together, they cooked up a plan. Rhea zipped over to the island of Crete to give birth in secret. She named the baby Zeus. Then she went back to Cronus, but instead of handing over their son, she gave him a big rock wrapped in a baby blanket. And Cronus, completely blinded by his fear, just gulped it down, didn't even notice. Top-tier parenting. Meanwhile, baby Zeus was raised in a cave, hidden from his dad. He was nursed by a goat, and his cries were drowned out by fierce warriors clashing their shields like an ancient heavy metal band on babysitting duty. He grew up strong, powerful, and nursing a pretty serious grudge against the father he'd never met. Once he was an adult, Zeus was ready. Guided by a goddess named Metis, he disguised himself, got a job as his dad's royal cupbearer, and served Cronus a special cocktail. The potion worked. Cronus got violently ill and was forced to barf up his children. One by one, they came out, fully grown and very angry. Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia. Imagine that family reunion. Hey siblings, nice to finally meet you outside of Dad's stomach. Now let's go start a war. And what followed was a war of cataclysmic proportions, a conflict that would shake the universe. The Titanomachy. For 10 long years, it was a celestial slugfest. The Titans fought from Mount Othrys, and the new gods who would become known as the Olympians fought from Mount Olympus. The war was a stalemate. So, realizing he needed an edge, Zeus went down to Tartarus and busted out his long-lost, ugly uncles, the Cyclopes and the Hecatonchires. Grateful to be free, they pledged their loyalty to Zeus. This alliance was a complete game-changer. The master craftsmen Cyclopes forged legendary weapons. For Zeus, they made thunder and lightning. Poseidon got his mighty trident to control the seas. And Hades got the helm of darkness, a god-tier invisibility cloak. The 100-handed Hecatonchires just started yeeting hundreds of massive boulders at once, overwhelming the Titan army. With these new toys and allies, the Olympians launched their final attack. Zeus unleashed his lightning, and the Titans just couldn't handle the heat. They were defeated, their rule crushed. Zeus tossed most of the male Titans into Tartarus, with their 100-handed nephews as the new bouncers. One Titan general, Atlas, got a special timeout. He had to hold the sky on his shoulders for all eternity. Don't skip leg day, buddy. With the war won, the Olympian age began. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades drew lots to divide the cosmos. Zeus got the sky, becoming king of the gods. Poseidon got the seas, and Hades became lord of the underworld. A new order was here, but the world was still pretty empty. It was time to get some tenants. The story of the gods is filled with this kind of cosmic-level family dysfunction. If you're finding this journey as fascinating as we do us a solid and hit that like button. This really helps us bring more of these ancient stories to life. With things finally sorted upstairs, Zeus delegated the job of populating the earth to 2 Titan brothers who bet on the right horse in the war. Prometheus, whose name means forethought, and his brother Epimetheus, whose name pretty much means afterthought. Epimetheus, the act first, think maybe later brother, eagerly started making all the animals. As he made them, he gave them all the cool upgrades available. Fur, claws, wings, shells. He handed them out like it was Black Friday at the animal parts store. By the time he was done, he'd used up every single gift. This was a problem because his brother, Prometheus, had just finished sculpting his own masterpiece, mankind, made in the noble image of the gods. But when he asked Epimetheus for a gift for them, he was told the goodie bag was empty. Humans were left naked, shivering, and totally defenseless. Whoops. Prometheus's heart went out to his vulnerable little clay people. He saw their potential but knew they'd never make it without a little help. So, he decided to pull off a heist against the king of the gods himself. He snuck onto Olympus, crept into the divine workshop, and stole a spark from the sacred fire of the gods. He brought it down to earth hidden in a fennel stalk. And fire was more than just a way to make s'mores. It was the key to civilization. It was the ultimate tech startup package. With it, humans could forge tools, build cities, and create art. Prometheus even taught them math and writing. Fire gave humanity the power to master their world. But this was a direct act of rebellion. When Zeus saw the bonfires down on Earth, he was furious. He didn't see a gift. saw a challenge to his authority, and his response was extreme. He had Prometheus chained to a rock where every single day a great eagle would fly down and eat his liver. And because he was immortal, it grew back every night, just so the torment could repeat. It is the worst possible version of rinse and repeat. But Zeus wasn't done. He decided humanity also needed to be punished for accepting the stolen fire. And his punishment would be a beautiful, irresistible evil disguised as a gift. He commanded Hephaestus, the smith god, to create the first woman out of clay. All the gods were told to give her gifts. Athena gave her skills and fine clothes. Aphrodite gave her divine beauty. And Hermes, the trickster god, gave her a cunning and deceptive heart and persuasive words. Because she got gifts from everyone, she was named Pandora, meaning all gifted, which is a nice way of saying fully loaded with divine spyware. She was a masterpiece, but she was a trap. Zeus presented Pandora as a wife to Prometheus's slow-witted brother, Epimetheus the afterthought guy. Probably not the best judge of character. As a wedding present, Zeus gave her an ornate gerapithos, which got mistranslated as a box centuries later with one simple rule: never, ever open it. Pandora and Epimetheus lived together, but that jar was always there, preying on Pandora's mind. The curiosity that Hermes had installed was working overtime. What could possibly be inside? Why was it forbidden? The thoughts consumed her until she just couldn't take it anymore. One day she approached the jar. Her hands trembled as she lifted the heavy lid just for a tiny peek. Big mistake. A torrent of horrible spirits burst out into the world. Out flew sickness, pain, envy, greed, sorrow, death, basically everything that makes you want to hit snooze on a Monday morning. They swarmed across the land, bringing humanity's age of innocence to a screeching halt. Terrified, Pandora slammed the lid shut as fast as she could. But it was too late. All the evils had escaped. All of them, except for one tiny spirit fluttering at the very bottom. Trapped inside when the lid closed was Elpis, the spirit of hope. And that's how the world was shaped. From a void came the cosmos. From patricide came the Titans. And from a paranoid father came Zeus and the Olympians. The world was filled with gods. Humanity got created. Our existence was forever defined by two very different gifts. The fire from Prometheus that let us build civilization, and the jar from Pandora that filled our lives with suffering. Yet in that same act, one spirit was held back. The ancient Greeks believed that because Pandora trapped hope in the jar, it remained here with USA's final, stubborn comfort against all the evils she'd let loose. It's the belief that even when life is filled with hardship, things can, and will, get better. And that fundamental tension between the suffering of our existence and the hope for a better tomorrow is maybe the most powerful legacy of this entire epic story. The myths of ancient Greece are jam-packed with more heroes, monsters, and divine drama. If you want to explore more of this incredible world, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. And let us know in the comments which myth you want us to explain next. Thanks for watching.